collective. This is a total team effort. I thought Bam and Tyler really set the tone for us in the fourth quarter. I thought Dru, his minutes were undeniable. I mean, his presence was extremely felt, especially on the defensive end in that zone. And then obviously Khalil too, trying to funnel everything to him, and he was just making play after play.
12 minutes that fourth quarter. What did you like about the way you guys executed out there?
Yeah, I think we were able to kind of play a collective game in the fourth quarter. I think everybody was able to kind of have their hand in, making some big plays offensively and defensively.
When you're playing alongside Bam and Tyler, they're probably going to have the ball in their hands. Are you prioritizing things and how you need to impact the court most?
Honestly, I'm just trying to do the most that I can on the defensive end, get them the ball wherever they need it on the other end, and just try to make the right plays if the ball does find me after they, create the advantage.
You had that big tip and then bounced it off Kobe White at the end of the game, and then a game-sealing offensive rebound and stuff. In the couple seconds after those big plays, what are you thinking about?
That was a big one for us. I think we understood that we're both trying to make a push, kind of get out of this play-in. So just trying to have an impact on winning at the end of the day, and so just was happy to be able to do that.
This one took a lot of guts. You guys are now 11-4 on second nights of back-to-backs. What do you think that says about a team? And by the way, you guys are averaging over 120 points in those games.
Yeah, I think it just shows, that we do have a collective grit. I think that we're going to continue to come together here down this home stretch, and hopefully we can continue to put, both our offense and our defense together on, each and every night.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks, Dru. Just go right to the fourth quarter. It was such a big frame. How are you guys able to pull this one out?
Just collective. This is a total team effort. I thought Bam and Tyler really set the tone for us in the fourth quarter. I thought Dru, his minutes were undeniable. I mean, his presence was extremely felt, especially on the defensive end in that zone. And then obviously Khalil too, trying to funnel everything to him, and he was just making play after play.
You made 4 threes tonight. You're starting to launch them again and with confidence. Has anything changed for you, or what's going on out there?
No, not really. I'm just trying to continue to play my game, and if I get the shots, I just shoot them. I work on my three every single day. It's something that I continuously try to get better at, and shooting isn't linear. You're going to have ups, you're going to have downs, but as long as you end up, that's where it's a good place to be. So just continue to shoot with confidence.
Games like this where it feels like every possession means so much, how can they help you guys as it's already now halfway through March?
Who help us?
The games when everything means so much, playing those types of possessions.
I think, we're getting to that point of the year where all these games matter. We're trying to make a push to try to, hopefully get out of this play-in tournament. So all these games matter. We're not taking anything lightly. I don't know how many games we have left, but I know it's not that many. Season goes by in the blink of an eye. So when we get the opportunity to play these games, we're not taking them for granted.
Last one, you guys now get to go home for 10 days, which is pretty rare in the middle of an NBA season, I know, right? But there's just the biggest benefits for you guys in that.
That it's nice, it's sunny, you get to go to the beach. You get to just be home. I think that's the most important thing. We love our fans, so to have that home stretch is going to be crucial for us. We want to make the most of it.
Thank you. Everyone knows you're the captain of this team, but how proud of you are of this group to come in and do this today?
This is a big win. It felt like a playoff game. It's cool to see Charlotte get behind a team like this. Sold-out crowd. That type of intensity, going back and forth. And it was very physical today, which, we gutted that out.
You look at that fourth quarter, it was super intense. What did you like on both ends in the way that you guys executed?
We got stops on the defensive end. I don't know what tapped to Khalil in the fourth, but he made some big plays. And then obviously on the other side, me, Tyler, Jaime, and even Dru made some big plays down the stretch.
I was going to ask you about Khalil because when you guys have needed him the most in the last couple of days, it feels like he's really stepped up in a big way. And what's that been like for you, just watching him really with the big moments?
I feel like he's handling them well. He's not getting too high in the highs and too low in the lows, and he's staying consistent. I always tell him it might not be 15-15, 5 blocks. Sometimes it might be 8-8 in 4 blocks. It might be that some games. But for me, I just want him to keep impacting winning.
Last one, you guys get to go home for 10 whole days now, and I know you don't get that often in the middle of an NBA season. You're a vet. What can that time actually do for you guys, especially at this point in the season?
I I mean, being able to get in front of our home crowd and build that energy, keep this winning streak going, and when we get home, I feel like we can score 140.
It felt like so tense, but how much fun did you have and enjoy a game like that?
Yeah, I really want our guys, to have these kind of moments. That's what I've been saying for the last month. This is the best time of year. We feel like our game has been trending in such a great way, both ends of the court. Our defense is just getting more consistent. You see the efforts, and you see more guys making an impact. And then offensively, we felt that way for, since the turn of the new year, that our offense has been going in a good way. But now it becomes about these competitive games, where both teams know what's at stake. And, as competitors, this is what you live for. And I know how much, the game means to our guys in the locker room, how competitive they are. So I just want them to, have these moments, going down the stretch. And it was great to see our guys respond.
Yeah, down the stretch, the fourth quarter, 30-19 was the score. What did you like about that frame?
Yeah, just the amount of efforts that you have to make to be able to defend a team like Charlotte. I mean, they're an explosive offensive team. We all know, what they've done the last 6 weeks. They're putting points on the board in a hurry, and they're doing it against everybody. And there's nothing easy about it. You got to be able to extend your defense to 26 feet on so many of their guys because of their range. But to hold them to 19, in the moments of truth, that's what we've been, really talking about. If you just take our game on paper, the last several weeks, looks like we should have more wins, but you have to actually do it in the moments of truth. And it was really gratifying to see our guys respond, in those pressure moments defensively.
And offensively, Tyler was just 35, 9 and 9. But what are you thinking when he's coming off those screens? You know he's going to get the shot late. You know he's going to take it. What's that like for you?
It was really great to see. There were so many guys that had an impact, on the game. You can go on down the line. But the end, our two cornerstones, brought us home. Bam and Tyler. And Tyler, has you can see that he's been gaining more rhythm, each game. And tonight the 3-ball, finally, started to go for him. And then you can just see how that just opens up, so much stuff for his game. Now you're leaning, and then he can put the ball on the floor if he's got already the touch with the floater and all that stuff. So, he just was sensational tonight. Having a place where he could create, something for us offensively, but also on the other side. I mean, it would have been great to see him have a triple-double because he had that kind of impact. He was moving the ball when he needed to. He was scoring when he needed to. He was manipulating the defense when he needed to. And then the 9 rebounds, and a lot of them when we were in our zone, those were, needed because, they're a handful, on the glass.
Dru playing all 12 minutes of those fourth quarters, what led into that decision?
Yeah, I was ready to go back, but he was so dynamic, in our zone. He was so disruptive. He had the steal, which I got to look at the replay. I don't know how he got the steal and then, threw it off of, the leg for a possession for us. But he had deflections. He was getting him out of the rhythm of what they normally wanted to do. And then he was the screener on the other end. So he was just very nuanced to be able to help Tyler, get to what we wanted to get to. And he earned it. And then I thought it was fitting. He had the biggest, offensive rebound tip in, that kind of created the separation that we needed to end it.
And then Jaime just going 4 for 6 from long range. He's got a lot of confidence from there again. Did something happen, or is it just
No, I think that's just a byproduct of Jaime just being a great competitor. Does that mean he's going to shoot 4 for 6, every single night? I don't know. But he wants to make an impact. And you have a game that feels like this. Jaime is going to put his fingerprints on the game one way or another. And he did that. In this case, it was knocking down threes, but also the toughness at the top of our zone. And, the rebounding, being vocal, all of those things he's been doing, lately, and it shows you why, he can impact in a lot of different ways. Usually it's all the downhill stuff. Tonight it was in a lot of the intangibles. But I also want to, note that Kalel, had a terrific fourth quarter. I think it was probably his best response in an important game that he's had all year. He started out, giving up some offensive rebounds, and then the pick and roll coverages, it wasn't, great. But then when we needed him most, he played his best minutes. In the last 8 minutes of the fourth quarter, he really came to life, was protecting at the rim, was closing out in our zone when he needed to, made some great reads with that. And I was really pleased, to see him be able to respond and have that kind of mental toughness. That's growth in my mind. All right, thank you.